You ever have one of those days? You know the ones. You are running around, constantly busy, but when your head hits the pillow, you feel like you got nothing done. At least, nothing that really mattered. Well, we're going to explore how to get out of that cycle, how to move from that feeling of just reacting to everything to a life that feels intentional and, well, designed by you. It's a huge shift, and it all starts with a feeling I think we all know a little too well. Wow, this quote just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's not about being lazy. In fact, it's the opposite. It's that deep, heavy feeling after a day that was just packed. I mean, back-to-back meetings, endless emails, a million errands, and you just collapse and think, what did I actually do today that was for me? I'm guessing this rings a bell for a lot of you. Your day was absolutely full. You were putting out fires, answering messages, just keeping all the plates spinning. But when you finally get a second to breathe, you get this nagging feeling that the important stuff, the things that actually fill you up, got pushed to the side. Again. Now, our first instinct when we feel this way is to blame time. We think, I just need to manage my time better. I need a new app, a new planner. But what if the problem isn't about time at all? What if it's something way more subtle, something happening just under the surface? And this, right here, is the real culprit. It's a concept called drift. It's not some big dramatic event that throws off your whole day. No, it's death by 1,000 cuts. It's that quick check of social media that eats up 20 minutes. It's the email that sends you down a rabbit hole you never planned on. It's saying yes to something when you really didn't have the space. Each one seems tiny, but by the end of the day, you've drifted miles off course. This slide just lays it all out so perfectly. On the left, you've got busyness. That's kind of our default mode, right? It's all about motion, having a full schedule, and asking, how much did I get done? But then look at the right, awareness. This is so much more powerful. It's about intention, about meaningful action, and asking that one game-changing question. Did I do what mattered? And that's the thing. The exhaustion that comes from a day of drifting isn't just physical. It's not the kind of tired that a good night's sleep can fix. It's a deeper kind of drain, an emotional exhaustion that comes from feeling pulled in a million different directions. And these are the silent energy killers. Think about it. It's not the frustrating meeting that drains you. It's replaying it in your head for the next 3 hours. It's carrying that little irritation around all afternoon. It's like having a dozen apps running in the background of your mind. You can't see them, but they are just chewing through your battery. So, how do we fix this? This slide shows us the path. On the left, we have reaction. It's automatic, it's fast, your emotions just take over. But on the right, we have response. And the secret sauce is that deliberate pause, that tiny little gap between what happens and what you do next. That's where all your power is. It's where clarity gets a word in. Just let that one sink in for a second. The exhaustion isn't from the events themselves. It's from how many times our inner world, our focus, our peace, just got hijacked by everything happening around us. Okay, so this is the big turning point. We've seen the problem pretty clearly. The drift, the reactions, the drain, but now let's talk about the solution. And it starts with a really simple but totally profound idea. You are not as stuck as you feel. See, so much of that trapped feeling doesn't come from real walls. It comes from the walls we've built in our own minds. It comes from these assumptions we've just accepted as truth without ever stopping to ask, hey, is that actually true? These phrases right here, they create an invisible prison. We say them to ourselves so often, they start to feel like laws of physics. But in reality, they're often just stories we've stopped questioning. The second you start poking at them, you realize they're not as solid as you thought. And this is how we start to break free, by reclaiming our personal authority. Now, this isn't about being bossy or trying to control everything and everyone. That's a recipe for frustration. Real authority is much quieter. It's about owning the things you can control, your response, your decisions, your little corner of the world. And that is the key that unlocks the whole thing. You don't have to have it all figured out. Your life starts to shift the very moment you stop saying I'm stuck and start looking for just one tiny place where you still have a choice. That's it. That's where it all begins. So what happens when you start finding and making those small choices? You begin this incredible shift from a life that just happens to you, a life lived by default, to a life that you are actively creating, a life of design. And this comparison just makes it so clear. Living by default is being shaped by pressure and old habits. It's trying to please everyone. It's reacting. But living by design, that's being shaped by your own intentions, your own values. It's choosing what matters and actively shaping your day. It's the difference between being a passenger and grabbing the steering wheel. So how do you actually start? It's not some giant leap. First, you just have to see the drift. Be honest with yourself about where your time is going, without any judgment. Then, just reclaim one choice, not everything, just one thing. From there, you just start designing little pieces of your day, building that momentum. Which brings us to this big, heavy word, purpose. We tend to think of purpose as this epic thing, right? Like you have to quit your job, move across the world, find some monumental calling. We put it way up on a pedestal, and that can make it feel totally out of reach. But here's the truth. Purpose isn't out there. It's right here. It's not built in one big moment. It's revealed in the thousands of tiny choices you make on the most boring, ordinary Tuesday. That's where purpose is actually lived. So when we talk about living a life with purpose, this is what we mean. It's consciously choosing to aim your resources, your time, your energy, your focus, at what you've decided is most important, instead of just giving it all away to whatever is screaming the loudest for your attention. When you boil it all down, it comes to this. It's a shift from how much can I do to how much meaning can I find. Less doing, more meaning. It's choosing your own purpose over the pressure from everyone and everything else. It's letting your own internal compass be your guide. And that leads us to this final idea, to live with purpose on purpose. To make intentional living an active, conscious practice, not just a nice idea you think about once in a while. So I'll just leave you with this one question. Don't worry about redesigning your entire life tomorrow. Just think about today. What is one small intentional choice you can make right now to start moving from that feeling of drift to a life of design?